The people of this city have spirit, I'll give them that. They've not lost the will to fight. I can imagine how torn you must feel, looking at that sky, knowing what it means to everyone, and that you're responsible.
All such a mess. Thank you, Royal Leo.
An all too familiar one. Here you stand alone, expecting no one else to bear the burden for you. You're in a corner, and there doesn't seem to be any obvious way out. But that doesn't mean it's over. However hopeless it seems, you haven't lost yet.
Go on.
I remember looking up at the sky like this before. Being caught up in a strange kind of calm. It was after we realized we were responsible for the flood. When we resolved to journey to the source by taking our own lives. One last sacrifice. One last fight. One last failure. And then the Oracle appeared and, well, you know the rest. There were times in the years and decades that followed when I wondered if we might not have been better off just letting the rejoining happen.
Damn.
That we'd made one last mistake. But seeing that giant Talos stir to life cured me of any doubts I still had. Always we took the burden of fighting upon ourselves. That's what heroes do, isn't it? So we never had the chance to see anything like that. Our people coming together as one. To think that their hope still burned so bright. That they were still so eager to live, they would lift up their fellows, one on top of the other, till they reached the sky. No. We made the right decision. And I can finally feel proud of the part we played in helping this world survive.
Yep.
Well, come on then. As I thought, what happened between us was no coincidence. My story may be finished. The fates have gifted me a minor role in yours. I suspected as much the moment I realized you could hear me. But it's hard not to doubt yourself when you're the man who caused the flood. I was afraid to do anything more than watch for fear of making things even worse. But no longer. After all, the path I once walked is now yours to finish. For what it's worth, I cast my lot with yours. If you need a push, I'll be right there behind you. If you lose control, I'll do my best to stop you. So, let us be about it, hero.
Oh, I was worried you were up here all alone, brooding and fretting and wallowing in your woes. But look at you, grinning at nothing like a pollen-drunk pixie. Look at what you've done to your ether. It's a mess. And you have cracks running all through that pretty soul of yours. My poor little sapling. Whatever am I to do with you?
Is she not the queen anymore?
Shall I yield up my throne? You could claim it. Cut ties with the mortal
Who's
world.
that?
Hide away in the castle. It won't fix the problem. But would it really matter? If any pesky heroes come calling with steel and magic, all of Meg will rise up in your defense.
Theol is so good
My
to us.
crown and scepter are yours, if you want them.
He's so good to us. Let's do it.
What? Don't give me that look. Of course I knew before I asked that you'd never ever heed such a wicked suggestion. And besides, what would become of my precious and ephemeral flower? Oh, my dear beloved sapling. You are lost, confused, and have precious little time to gather your wits. Your kind is always so preoccupied with what lies ahead, and so we muddle your vision with fog and glamour. But such trickery is easy to see through. Stand very, very still. Think not of where you need to go, but where you are right now at this moment, at this time, in this place. Our cairn of crystal. From shadowed hood he watched you go, his ruby eyes with warmth aglow. See yourself as he saw you, and that shall be the clearest clue. You stand in his garden, dear sapling. Ask his flowers what they know, and you will surely find an answer. But what will you do with it, I wonder? I'll be watching and waiting. Waiting and watching.
Dungeon unlocked. Cull the flowers of the red-eyed King Mikote's garden. Do it. Gather information on the Crystal Exarch. Hey, Cohh and chat. Out of topics, but I saw Owlcat suggested the players nominate Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous for Outstanding Story-Rich Game. I'd like to give it Game of the Year, but I don't know if I should better follow their wish. Opinion. I would not. I think either category would be good. I mean, I would not say what you to vote for, what you to vote for. I don't want to tell you what to vote for. What are we talking about in what category and what contest? Yeah, I'm not really sure. Regardless, thanks for your 14 months. It's really good, and the story is also really, really good. So, I mean, it has one of the most story-rich worlds of any game. I mean, that's for the Steam Awards. I think it has a better chance of winning outstanding story-rich game. I would say it has a better chance winning there, which is maybe why they're telling you to do that. But I mean, personally, obviously, I absolutely loved it. So it's really up to you. I'm happy to share, but I fear there will be no surprising revelations. No one can doubt his generosity. When the Crystarium was being constructed, he even allowed folk to plunder the tower for resources. It imposed no restrictions upon us but one. No one except the Exarch is permitted to dwell within the spire. Many seasons passed, a comrade of mine was bold enough to ask the reason why. The Exarch merely smiled and said, because one day the Crystal Tower may vanish as suddenly as it arrived. Okay, so I feel like the big hint is there that we have to somehow get the light into the tower, and then poof it? Maybe? I mean, that's what he was going to do, kind of. Maybe we could use Artbert. I need no documentation to relay what little I know of this history, but this is what may interest you. Less than a decade has passed since the coming of the flood, when the crystal tower that first flashed into existence. Its summoner, the Exarch himself, became known to the refugees in Lake Landsue after. He welcomed all who sought out the spire, be they locals who had lost their homes or Voberites fleeing their ruined kingdom, and together did they found the city which would become the Crystarium. Some call him king, for he refused to share his name, but the summoner did not deem himself worthy of royal address. Thus did the people consider him his scintillating skin, the like to the tower he had summoned, and bestowed upon him the title of Crystal Exarch. As for his true name, well, it would seem that it's a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Okay. Yes, Cohh notes. I'm going to take notes. Super important. What's this about? You're not writing the Exarch memoirs, are you? I'm not sure how much I can take, considering we avoid asking too many questions, unspoken rule and all that. If anyone has fresh insights to share, that'd be Captain Lena, I'd say. We lost her parents to an Eater attack not long after she was born, and the Exarch sought her upbringing. Outward appearances aside, those two are like grandfather and granddaughter. Okay. Lakeland Gate. Oh, it is so nice being able to fly. Oh my god, it feels good. Flying for the absolute win. Oh, I was not told you had awoken. Welcome surprise now, if only the Exarch had returned to us. Yeah, he's not coming back. And so I bristled when they asked for patience. I did not understand their hesitation until I saw that you had fallen. Only then did I realize I had no business rushing ahead. Even so, the delay has been no less agonizing. The moment before he left to join you in Calusia, the Exarch entrusted me with a key. It opens the door in the ocular to a chamber known as the Umbilicus. Oh. He bid me allow no one to enter the tower once he had departed, only in the event that the army of Eaters descended upon the city was I to access the Umbilicus and awaken the defensive barrier. that some terrible fate awaited. Are we gonna tell her? You've come with me with a question of your own. You see, I'm not the only one who burns for answers. The time has come to open the tower's heart, that we do not face an invasion of eaters. I suspect the city will be in far more danger if you do not gain the knowledge you seek. Yes. Not Torque. Thank you for gifting that sub, buddy. Appreciate it, my friend. Go. Here we go.
I have unlocked the door to the umbilicus. You are free to enter. Once you have what you require, I'll see it sealed once more. Until then, I will remain without.
Viking walk. Thanks for the 10 months, buddy.
A moment to collect my thoughts, I prithee. Thy true name is Grahatia, then. By thy claims, thou too art a native of the Source, though from an age beyond our own, when the 8th umbral calamity hath visited devastation upon our star.
Whoa.
Thou hast, by subtle means, reached across the boundaries of time and space to unsow the seeds of catastrophe, ere its creeping vines drag our champion unto an early grave.
In essence, yes. A difficult story to swallow.
Dude, so he time traveled too. Whoa.
I doubt not the veracity of thy words, not the account of thy coming, nor that of the fated calamity. Yet my mind straineth still to apprehend the enormity of this tale. Wouldst thou favor me with a gradual unfolding of its chapters?
Certainly. But
Now
where
wait
to
a
begin?
second.
I should start with those great minds who survived the calamity.
Is this why he
St.
claimed he knew about the
being perhaps
calamity?
the greatest. In hopes of staying the unending tides of war, he and his fellows pursued all manner of possible solutions.
Oh.
One of these was rooted in a theory which unified several fundamental principles discovered over the course of the Warrior of Light's adventures. It proposed a method by which one could enter the River of Time, traverse the rift, and leap between worlds. Perfecting that idea, however, was a work which consumed their lifetimes, and thus was it left to future generations to decide whether theory would be put into practice.
Damn.
But all the while, the world continued to burn. Hope was a feeble outpost, beset on all sides by thievery, and misery and murder. People cried out in despair. There is no hope. We are finished. Mankind is finished.
Interesting. That's kind of what...
Then others raised
Cohh
their
said.
voices in answer. Though we be beyond salvation, those who came before may yet be saved. We will forge a crossroads and pave the way for a different future. By the wisdom of our forebears, we will prevent this calamity from ever having come to pass. The fighting went on unabated, but some few took up Cid's research and labored to realize those impossible ideas. After 2 centuries of labor, their descendants finally succeeded in awakening the Crystal Tower, an integral part of the process, and, in doing so, roused its caretaker, me. By this stage, scholars had largely established the phenomena underpinning the rejoining, and identified the first as the shard which precipitated the 8th umbral calamity. This grand structure was already capable of storing the energies required to attempt the translocation. All that remained was to augment some few of its functions based upon the theoretical models of Cid and his compeers.
And by means of such technologies didst thou effect thine arrival in the first, to an age before this star had joined with the Source.
Some while before, as it turned out. 'Tis all but impossible to predict how time will flow between one world and the next, and we missed our mark by almost an entire century. But this only worked in our favor. The Sin Eaters could not be defeated without the blessing of light, and summoning the only man who might stand a chance against them would require decades of preparation.
An undertaking of scarce credible endurance. That thou hast kept thy plan from falling into disarray these many years bordereth on the miraculous. Yet howsoever history be rewritten, thy present self was shaped by events which followed the calamity. Should said catastrophe be averted, the very skein of thine existence will unravel. Surely thou hast foreseen this.
I am aware of the consequences. 'Tis for that very reason Cid and his colleagues bequeathed their legacy as an offering, and not an edict. To give all of oneself for the happiness of others, and with no promise of reward. 'Tis a hard thing to
Orangier is basically just not like this the
harder
entire
still
time.
for those condemned to survive in a world which pitted brother against brother. Indeed, you are right to call the execution of this plan miraculous, though the force which held it together was nothing so inexplicable. It was him. The warrior of light has been our unbroken thread. Where others would stumble and fall, he would rise above. Where others would break and run, he would carry on. The warrior of light's tale is one of unyielding bravery. To tell it was to feel courage. To hear it was to feel hope. It was a breath of inspiration in an age of suffocating shadow. In the histories of a fallen nation was our hero hailed as its greatest ally. In the time-worn pages of a noble's memoirs were his deeds joyously retold. For many, these stories were the flame which warmed them through the coldest of nights. And so it should come as little surprise that the plan found no shortage of volunteers, concerning as it did the Warrior of Light himself. It was their chance to add their own verse to the hero's saga. He was the lodestar that brought them all together, to send their final message back through time and space to him. The light of your legacy was our torch in the darkness. Burn bright again and live. I am merely the bearer of that wish, come to ensure it is safely delivered.
I like this.
Wherefore sharest thou this burden with me and no other? What wouldst thou have me say?
That you will be my accomplice? 'Twas you yourself who convinced me of your suitability when you spoke of how you learned of the Flood, and of your part in arranging Minfilia's journey to the First.
I mean, you are a schemer, Orangier.
Your actions showed uncommon resolve.
Mm-hmm.
'Twas clear you were committed to the cause of saving this world.
You're kind of perfect
I
for
knew
this.
I could trust you to choose the right path forward, even if that choice came with a heavy price.
What price?
When all is said and done, and the last of the Light Wardens lies slain, I will absorb their corrupted ether, and then I will die. Knowing what I know of your companions, not to mention your champion, they will try to stop me. But in saving one, they would save none. Therefore, I implore you to aid me in concealing my identity, and ensuring this tale ends as it must. To this end, I would have you take what I have told you of the Calamity, and make of it a portent. A prophetic vision you beheld
There it
in
is.
the swirling chaos.
There it is. Okay. Cool. It always was weird that he was the only one that saw it.
I wish.
History remembered the Warrior of Light, as I knew it would. And I will suffer no other to rescue the champion whose star has charted my course.
Dude, that means he's probably been alive for like hundreds and hundreds of years. Wow.
I will see this tale to a happy end, my friend. There has been enough tragedy.
But then Cohh cast gun. What a dick. It was going so well.
Careful now. If you lose control again, the light could claim you for good.
They're smashing stuff.
Although
They
it's
start
probably only a
smashing.
matter of time before you succumb to the change in any case. What do you mean to do?
Well, you keep showing us we got this little light connection, right? And what are you gonna do with it? You keep. Oh, look, we can. Oh, our bro fist is so. Oh. Okay. Anyway, what else can we do? Let's explore that. I don't know. I want to rescue the Exarch.
We should be on our way. Diassian mentioned the Tempest, did he not?
Do it.
That's the stormy seas around Calusia to you. His lair must be down there somewhere,
And I unlocked flying.
hidden beneath the waves.
Look at myself. Yeah. Let's go. Swear to God, don't smile at me. I swear to God if we get there. For some reason, the currents in the air prevent us from flying. No, absolutely not. Oh God, is it a whole new zone? Oh, it's a whole new zone. No. Need some dry. Okay. Yes, I'm going right now. Hello.